record here so we have a good quality recording. Here we are, Stylescapes for the gathering. And actually, just for a introduction and framing,
Yes.
Alex, would you be willing to just give like a minute or 2 minute overview of what the hell Stylescapes are and how we should be looking at this?
Why me?
I can do
Because
it. I can
okay,
do
I'm
it.
no, sorry, because I thought you were this guy, Stylescapes, not
Good.
ambassador, advocate, or whatever. So anybody that
Yes,
can tell
because I
me,
can I can imagine what they can do, but by no means I'm a designer, and I wouldn't dare to
okay,
basically.
I mean, whoever
I
can
can do
tell
it.
me, yeah, how to look at this.
Okay. So in a traditional design process, without a stylescape, uh, you go from that initial meeting we had, which is essentially a briefing and a download and a understanding what you're looking for. And then the designer, I would go away and come up with some ideas, some initial design concepts, and then come back to you and go, okay, choose from these three logo options. And there's nothing in between. So the Stylescapes fills the gap in between where it becomes more of a collaborative process. So instead of me going, okay, here's three design directions. You have to choose one of these. This process goes, here are some design directions. Which one's feeling right? And we get that right so that when I design, I actually can concentrate on one direction and really like spend all my energy and effort on one direction because we all feel that that's the right one versus having to spend time on three. So it's actually a more streamlined process in that sense, and it's more participatory from your perspective.
Okay, I understand. So these are three directions.
Yes.
Understood.
So I've named each direction just so we've got something to reference. This one I've called nature. And the reason why like underpinning this for me is that essentially that's why my understanding is at the end of the day, it's why we're doing it all, is to preserve the natural world that we live in so that we can thrive as humans. Like I think that's like the underlying layer. It's also it's a the event itself is immersed in nature, and nature is a participant. And you said it's the host, the way you framed it. Nature is the host. So this direction is bringing nature like front and center as to yeah, I guess that's the brand host too, and it's very present in the brand. Um, so if we look at the actual stylescape, with each one, I've interpreted the logo slightly in slightly different ways because I felt like the way it is now with the black is quite heavy. So I'm looking for ways to soften it a bit and make it more approachable. And then I've done a font option on a different font option on each one. And again, these are not set in stone, but it's a direction that we can discuss. So for this one you'll see that I'm also using this is the structure of the logo, the hexagon, and that can be a design element that divides spaces that can we can use it in layouts and yeah, it's instead of straight lines, we can have that shape throughout, whether it's the website or whatever materials we produce. It's bringing that logo piece into the layout. I've got a palette here, which is I'm trying to represent all different types of nature here. So from like greenery and forestry and plants to water and oceans to earth and ground and it's not like deeply earthy. It's got some vibrance to it. So I didn't want to go too earthy with this one. But it's the color palette. So each stylescape also has a palette that I'm presenting. So it's um, and then I felt like I really like this look here where, you know, if we're talking about AI images as part of the deliverables, the AI images can be based on nature. That's what we bring in, like different aspects of nature, using our color palette in different colors, and then we overlay things over it. And the logo, like these are similar to the logo in terms of like simple shapes, one color over, and they look really nice. And we could actually develop an icon set which matches the logo out of the brand, which we use in different ways. Um, and then the use of natural textures. I've given some examples here of some natural textures which we could use in the brand. Um, I've also included a couple of pieces of texture here. So here's a bit of earth. This is a like a paint splash. I felt like it was too straight and too clean. It needed a little bit of grittiness to it. So we would bring that in some way. And then also on each stylescape, you'll see that there's a person. And what I'm trying to do is represent the kind of person that lives in this brand and lives in this space. So you can look at it and go, that's wrong. That's totally fine. Maybe they need to be older or younger or more this or more that. We can discuss each one. Um, yeah, and then in the background, this is like this green over here is it's like it's more of a pattern and more of a yeah, like a simple pattern which representing nature. And then I've taken the logo shape again at the background here, which we can use as a pattern in various different ways. And then this is just an example of like a product that might come out of the brand as a water bottle, because that's I think it's in line with the brand in that um, it's saving plastic, it's drinking water, which is part of nature. I could see you having a water bottle as part of the brand. And if one day you had like a permanent space and you did signage, the signage could look something like that, where it feels like natural. And then like if we're doing a website to match these rounded corners, I would round the corners of the images, much like we have in this layout here as well. Um, I think it softens a little bit and then it matches that logo shape. Um, so that's number one, and my thinking and reason why all these things are on this page. Do you want to comment on this one before we go on to the next, or should we just go on to the next first?
Up to you. I'm happy to follow your process. I don't know. What do you think will make more sense?
Let me go through all of them, and
Okay.
then we can come back to anyone and discuss any piece of anyone.
Well,
And we
I think
can,
we should probably go through all of them one by one.
yes, 100%. So I'll go through the next one, like I've just done this one, and then
Yeah.
we can come back. This is number two, and I've called this one calm. It's also quite nature-based, but it's much more it's more subdued. It's more what's the right word here? It has more of like a natural like a natural cotton or a natural feel, natural fibers. Um, it's not as like bright and loud as the first one. We do have an accent color here though that we can use for things, but it's a bit more earthy and a bit more. It's not as loud. It's a bit more quiet. Again here, especially on this one, I felt the logo as it is now is too strong, so I have interpreted it differently like this on here. This is in the background here. This is a like a illustration of a mycelial network. So bringing that in here, and then in the background of everything, it's actually generated using AI. It's a um, Japanese watercolor type background, similar to what we've got in these images here, but and that's a texture that we can easily render using AI and use in different ways. So it's a little more zen. That's actually maybe a good way to describe this. With it's like a zen meets earthiness. I also actually noticed that if you take this shape, that's a piece of the logo, it's actually also very similar to the golden ratio. I'm not sure if that was intentional, if or not. So that's something we can play with, which I quite like. Um, and then there's like elements of Japanese here, like this kind of these kind of layout, like feeling things. We can like with a bit of texture in the background, where everything's not just like pure white or pure clean color. We've got some texture, um, and earthy tones. This one's a bit more earthy. If we had a sign, it might look something like that at the event. Like the actual spaces would feel very calming and simplistic, and it's like minimalist and simple and calm and clean. This is a mushroom here in the background. And then we could bring in some clean lines, like these white lines in various ways, as a design element. Um, I really like this wood texture. It feels again, it's homage to the nature, which is the host. You also spoke particularly about forests and trees, and I guess the importance that they play. And here we have this character, which I feel fits in this world in terms of the kind of person that might live in this space. And then these are patterns and I guess types of um, inside, I don't know if they're ornaments, but artwork or elements which might live in this kind of world. Um, yeah, you see the font here is a little bit harder than the first one. The first one's more round. This one is a little bit more sharp. To and it's what the reason why I went with that is it kind of stands out more with all the softness of the colors. And here's the palette, which is earthy. I put these in these little bubbles because that could be an element that we use on a website. It's like your buttons could look something like that. Um, and then pull these shapes out as a design element too from the logo. We could use that in some clever ways. Um, and I also quite like this brush. It's a very typical Japanesey brush mark. We could bring that, enlarge that and bring that in somehow as another design element to bring a little bit
It's
of
a
texture.
it's a Zen practice, meditation practice, drawing the
Okay.
circle.
Okay.
I
So,
I have somewhere like the door hanging that was actually the circle was done by the head priest of one of the temples.
oh wow.
So we see it as a mark, but it's a form of meditative practice. And
Okay.
yeah, to the point where the temple sells the door, the opening door hangings, like you've
Mm,
seen,
mm,
right?
mm. Hmm.
With a circle done by the head priest.
Okay,
So
wow. So that then fits perfectly actually with the feel of this, because this does have that kind of calm, more meditative type feel. So that circle, I don't know what to call it, meditative mark, I think fits in well. And then textures wise, there's bark and the mushrooms, as I said, and this is wood, could always even be sand, but it's a mixture of some calm textures with a little bit of earthiness, roughness, but not overdoing it. And I really like this. I just really like the feel of this. I'm not sure how yet I would implement that in the brand. I just really like the feel of it. I thought I'd include it.
it
Uh,
reminds me a little bit of the Australian dot paintings.
is
Dog
that
painting?
Just a second. Here.
is that
Dog
from like
painting.
Aboriginal cultures or
Yeah.
okay?
They have this technique you might have seen before. The traditional ones, you see it on didgeridoos. And a lot of this is just
Uh,
random crap. It's modern, but yeah. I have a really beautiful one I got at the festival I was there.
we're not seeing your screen, by the way.
You're not seeing my
I'm seeing
screen?
his screen.
Oh, I wasn't.
I'm seeing his screen.
Wasay,
That's
are you
weird.
seeing my? You
I can.
you can. Anyways, but yes, sorry. But yeah, sorry, please go back to screen sharing.
I know what you mean by the didgeridoo paintings.
So it's a whole style. You probably have seen it on didgeridoos because that's made it to your part of the world. But they make
mm,
pictures, and there's a whole depth of practice there that I don't even
mm,
know about. And
okay. Okay. I mean, I like that reference because, like this Zen monk reference, there's like indigenous culture baked into the look of this without even being intentional about it. Um, okay. Number three is connection. And this is the
and just
more,
so I don't lose this thread, because we're doing organizing a yeah. If you can just go back to the previous one. Because what this made me think, right? If we can create a brand where in every place and location where there is native art, we can incorporate that and maybe pass it through the AI to create a stylized version of it which connects
mm,
the gathering style with the style of that place, right? You know, in South
mm,
America, there is amazing patterns. There is lots
mm,
of traditional patterns in many places in the world, right? Where if we
yeah.
could find a way where we stylize and incorporate, right, for the gathering in Guatemala, the patterns of the fabric there, for the one in Czechia, the patterns from the fabric there, that would be really cool.
That would actually be an amazing way to make it uh, customizable or fit each location. Like paying, yeah, like a nod to the indigenous cultures of each place, I think would be
And and
amazing.
and with AI, that's possible because this is something that AI is absolutely brilliant at, right? Take these two styles and mash them up.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, sorry, please continue.
Um, this is number three. I've called this one connection. It's the most vibrant of the lot. It's a much brighter color palette. It's more youthful. So I've got a younger person as the representative here. But it also does have, like, if this was the kind of background that we used, it feels, it still feels quite Zen and has a Japanese influence to it. There's a lot of Japanese paintings and art that is this color scheme, like the pinks and the blue hues. Um, and yeah, so it's calm in a different kind of way. Uh, I've done the pattern of the so this round here is actually the same round here, which is basically the a piece. I don't know what to call it, the comma or the comma
Drop.
of the logo,
I
the
think drop.
drop, the drop. So using the drop of the logo to bring that round shape into design and layout elements. We could fill the drop with patterns and textures too, like I've done here. Um, and this one has more of a strong Japanese feel. Like this feels Japanese, these are Japanese, that is this here too. So I've gone a little harder on the Japanese style here, although in a less typical modern way. So it's not doesn't it can't feel like a Japanese brand because it's not. It needs to be more global. But I've kind of used the influence of it more strongly in this one. Um, yeah, and I think this is more about like the vibrance of people and the connection and that spirit that happens at the gathering and less about the nature. Like the other two are much more natural based. This one's more about the energy of the actual people. Yeah, what else to say here? I've gone with I guess this is the strongest feeling logo out of all of them in terms of like the heaviest. That like if we look at this one, it's quite light, and that one's also lighter. This one is, although it's similar to the first one, that I guess using the blue, it's much stronger. And then using a just a simple font to my issue with the font right now that it is, if the three words we pull out of our exercise last time was harmony, thriving, and curiosity, the current font doesn't say that to me. So I feel like we definitely need to
No, no, I mean,
look
we
at
definitely
something.
need to revisit the font.
Yeah.
It was a nice suggestion from a designer friend, but it wasn't a proper exercise.
Um, Yeah, and the architecture here kind of mirrors this. I've got a lot of circles here too. So these rounded shapes, like using circles as design elements and patterns. Even the architecture here is circular. The stones have a circular element to it, bringing circular element into these lines. Um, yeah. Oh, that one other thing is I quite like this is like more nuanced, slightly like sophisticated in the look, having little icons and little illustrations to counteract the solidness of this, of these colors. Yeah, and I think there should be still, I think there should always be some element of photography in it, and so we could do it in something like that, but not necessarily with the blurredness. But I think it shouldn't all be illustrated um, or
For sure.
or
I
or,
mean,
or AI. I think we need
for
actual
sure. I mean,
photography.
we have some photography. I mean, we have a chunk of photos from last year, and we're gonna get much better. And it's the trickle is gonna turn into a flood. So
Okay.
definitely creating designs and things which supports presenting a lot of photos is a part of it. Have you seen the photos we already have from last
Um,
year?
I
We'll
can't
sh
remember now if I did look. Are they in
well,
that folder in the on the drive or
they're on Mega, but we'll share
no?
them
Then I
with
haven't
you.
seen them. I haven't seen them.
Uh,
Um, I think that's I'll leave that there for now. And then we can go back to whatever you want to and talk about if you have any questions or follow-ups or thoughts or
so maybe I'm gonna throw this into Miro so I can have it all, and then we can also ask other people to comment, because also Miro lets me unwind. Ah, okay. So, put this here. I mean, they're all in general, they're all beautiful, uh, which makes it that much more
Hmm.
challenging of how to move forward. Uh, I have, okay, let me move to my screen share.
I think if you assess it from a pure visual perspective, then it makes it more difficult.
Yeah, so exactly. So taking a step back, right? Functionally, what are we trying to achieve here? We have a website, we have social media, we need to communicate and invite people. We have a good amount of text. Uh, on the website and in other places. Uh, so social media, website, some iconography and stuff at events and such. Uh, I guess maybe let me go at a high level and then let's go through them individually with a fine-tooth comb one by one. At
Okay.
a high level, I love the textures, that each one is heavy in the textures. I think that's amazing. I love the nature textures. I am incredibly excited about the AI possibility of having an infinite amount of different style textures. That's great. I think this idea of finding a way of connecting with the textures of each place is brilliant. Really excited about playing with that. I like all three color palettes. It will be, we're gonna have to think and do some kind of an exercise of which one makes sense brand wise, because I do like all of them.
Uh-huh.
That's all good. At a high level, the only typography I like is the last one. I mean, I like in the sense of I think our typography needs to be really simple because there's going to be a lot of it. We're going to need to find matching fonts in other languages. You know, imagine finding a Hebrew, a Japanese font that matches this,
Mm.
right? But if you go for a simple sans serif font, then you can find a good matching font in every language.
Mm.
Also, there is going to be a lot of text on websites and stuff, so it's going to be really good for typography. So this last one I like very much. What font is this?
It's Avenir.
Avenir. Yeah. Yeah, it's got good energy. I this is one area where I'm a pretty geeked out is on fonts. Uh, so these other two, they're nice, but I don't think they fit. Also, do not accept doing this to the logo. I don't think that makes any sense. I think we can play with the color and such to make it lighter. Do it in, any of these colors, it will be lighter, but outlining it like that, I don't believe it makes sense. Having stuff, it's a question, having stuff showing through the logo, question mark, question mark. Breaking apart the logo, I don't know. I think maybe it makes sense, but I'm not enough of a logo geek to say understand that. So that's at a high level. Going through in more detail, uh, and I will start maybe with asking Alex and Wasey for their thoughts.
Mhm.
Nature, nature style. Setting aside whether you think this guy is handsome or not, what is your thinking on this style?
So I would say that this is my favorite, and the reasons for that being simple, I think it is the closest to the current branding of the gathering, and I think that it will have create some sort of continuation of the current brand, yet add more freshness to it and more professionalism. And what I like the most about it are those taking out the honeycomb pattern from the logo and making it into a pattern, the one on the right, but also the edges of, let's say, I'm imagining presentations, decks, social media posts using exactly this kind of um, edges between content elements.
Yeah, we had already started this on the website. Yeah, I also think this is a good idea. This one is disturbing because it doesn't have the proportions as this one. But yeah, I think that is the honeycomb is good. I mean,
If I may continue,
please.
what I also like here are the natural elements, which are not super typical, like zooming in on the macro of something or fossils, right? So I would say finding very unique specificities of the beauty of the nature somehow. And to me, gathering is about nature, right? If I would be seeking for 3 words that describe the gathering for me, one of them will be nature, definitely. And I guess this one speaks to me the most, the loudest. I don't like the aluminum bottle though. I don't think aluminum is a good material for bottles.
Cool. Wase, what do you think this, about this
As
first one?
first time dealing with Stylescapes, I'm a bit confused in general because all of them look good. So I, I can't say much, but all of them look brilliant.
But
But I
on the other hand, you are in many ways you're the one who spends most time with the brand because you're day in day out making images and making posts.
I
Uh,
think the first one might work the best with us.
Sorry, which one?
That's the top one, the first nature
Nature.
one. Yep, nature
Yeah.
one.
All
But
right.
the third one is really fancy as well. It looks really pretty.
Yeah, this is the problem if you do give the client three good options, Lee.
Uh,
Yeah.
And with the icons, it's a cool idea. I shared already, we had been trying to do some iconography for the last one. It didn't quite work out, but we have been thinking about it. So it would be really cool. But I think having the icons within a hexagon is maybe what would make sense. But
exactly.
anyways,
Yes. This is also what came to me, that you use the hexagon and each bioregion, or I don't know how do you want to divide them, but have also something inside the same shape that is,
yeah.
and then you can actually have like a mosaic of them, like the honeycomb piece. It's kind of
And then also when thinking because there is a DIY component to when it comes to the physical event. So think stencil when designing icons and things like this. And the current logo works that way. I've tested it. I can't pull it if it wasn't the other thing. Think stencil. I did take a stencil and I spray paint it. Does it come out okay? Uh, all right. This one. What's this one called?
Calm.
Calm. Ah, there it is. It's calm. It's a really amazing fashion brand. I I really love it, but the question is, does it fit what the gathering needs? Because the gathering, we want a bit of energy, right? I mean, it's going into action from a calm place for sure. Uh, yeah, I think the color palettes, these ones are more fitting. Again, for the gathering, right?
Hmm.
I do love this, and I will save it for when I'm launching a fashion brand. I love everything about it. Uh, and I think this idea of connecting our patterns, right? We can connect with nature, that's cool, but we can also connect with indigenous or traditional patterns of each place.
Mm.
That could also be interesting. So even just for sparking that inspiration is great. Alex, what do you think?
So what I like about this one the most is, for whatever reason, tiles, and also this Australian Aborigines art.
Sorry, when you say tiles, which part do you mean?
On the right,
Ah,
you have tiles. So basically, what I was searching for is also ways in which we could produce merchandise that is unique and natural, and which is produced in collaboration with local artists. And for the same reason I hate aluminium water bottle, I love the tiles, right? So if you can imagine that you bring a tile from Australia, which is painted by Aborigines.
Stainless steel.
This is what I'm imagining as yeah, sorry, stainless steel, and I got distracted, but you know what I mean. So basically this elements is what I like within this stylescape the most.
But I didn't fully understand. Just you mean you like the designs on this or the fact that there are tiles or
Both. So tiles is number one. That because I'm searching for unique ways in which we could have unique products for merchandise. And I'm thinking tiles, I'm taking scarves that would have our patterns, right? So patterns is second thing I'm thinking of. What is the product? And I'm seeing that they are with patterns. So it's like a scarf could have a patterns, you know, like Gucci has like their, and Louis Vuitton has their unique pattern for whatever they
yes,
are.
and here if we connect and if we're able to create unique patterns for each gathering location,
Exactly this.
then yeah.
So you have Gathering Mexico has their scarf. Gathering Australia has tiles. Gathering Portugal has stainless steel water bottle.
Well, I mean, they can all have tiles, they can all have scarves. Portugal, I don't know how familiar you
Oh,
are,
yeah,
me, but we
Portugal
have,
have
yeah,
tiles exactly.
Portugal has tiles, right? It has this huge tradition of, and I mean, there's huge ones like this, but there's all of this. So yeah, I think every place you go, you'll be able to pull in. Uh,
And
cool.
if I make it back to this stylescape, I see somehow uh, the use of this stylescape maybe somehow somewhere else, as not as a main brand of the gathering, but when I'm thinking brand architecture and maybe some sort of sub brands where this stylescapes could be used, I think we could revisit it because it's absolutely beautiful.
Maybe we can use this one for coherence. Uh,
Ah.
we'll need another brand. Uh, yeah. Wasei, any thoughts on this one? Anything that stands out that you like? Any of the details, for example?
I personally like the colors. I think the reddish orange, that personally looks appealing on white. Aside from that, everything is beautiful. The tiles also look good, and the sand formation look good. But yeah, I think this can work on coherence as it's pretty calming and natural looking.
Mm.
It's also C. It starts with C also, just a different word. And
Cool.
I also like the Zen meditation circle, but I try to, in my imagination, push it on the top one, and I think it will be too much a little bit because yeah, and yeah, just forget.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we need to think about is because right now we have this inked, right? The gathering name. So this is a key question that we need to think about of whether we drop this calligraphy style completely and go to a logotype like this, or if we continue using it, then we should probably use this for some other things. This was done by my wife, by the way, so I can extract from her some number of these things, but not an endless amount. Uh, so this is a question, right? Do we drop the ink logotype?
Not only ink logo type, but also ink logo element, ink visual elements, right? Are we talking about also this? Yeah, this below, connect for action, this Milky Way.
Well, I mean, this I just put in sometime when I was trying to add a little bit of personality and color. So no, this is not relevant. I mean, this is
But wait a second, because look, if you look at the Stylescape, number one, there is a paint there, right? Just at the color palette, there is like a paintbrush element. So maybe it did indeed it still could have
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of calligraphy / artistic expression, which is totally random and not even, because this Stylescape is like with quite even shapes, right? And so to add
No,
a
I
little,
mean, I think this we are agreed, right? That we want this organic, not square, even all of these images, right? They're nature does not produce straight lines pretty much. And so yes,
but we are talking about calligraphy / brush stroke
yes.
elements.
And we have it in the Zen here.
Exactly.
So I'm not saying we have to have it. I'm just saying this is a key decision that we need to make.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am happy to go with it one way or the other, with maybe a slight personal bias towards the calligraphy, but I'm willing to get over that. As
I,
you
I have
as
an
you know, as you know, I like calligraphy.
I have an opinion on that, which is not strong, but let me express it.
Please.
So if we had calligraphy in the logo until now, and now we know that we want to go towards simple typefaces, perhaps we should keep the calligraphy elements in the Stylescape for visual continuity.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. Honestly speaking, other than the logo, I'm willing to trash everything and start from scratch because we're doing a proper process.
All right.
I am not, and I think both Wase and I are tired enough of looking at the old style that we're happy to start with a new style.
As I said, it's not a super strong opinion.
So
So if I can just jump in
please.
here quickly, the reason why I included that brush stroke on the side there is that it was feeling a little too clean. I feel like it needs a little bit of
To break it.
Yeah, and it's
grit or a little bit of texture
definitely.
to because it's not a clean brand. It doesn't it's like very earthy, and if it's
Oh,
too clean, that earthiness kind of disappears. So we can use the brush strokes or the calligraphy strokes to bring that texture in, or maybe we do it in a different way, but I think some kind of texture is needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, texture we are agreed on. The question is the calligraphy and this. Uh, I think, yeah, we could keep it. All right. Going on to the third one. Who would like to start?
Wase, maybe you start now.
Okay, so I personally like the colors in this one too. I think I like the colors in all of the stylescapes. All of them are good. And I kind of like the logo part, the drop part with the pattern. I think we can on the right, we can incorporate some patterns or images in that idea. And overall, as I'm not really familiar with other Japanese stuff, so I couldn't understand most of the idea behind this. But I personally like those two, the colors and the logo drop with the image.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. What I like about this one the most, in generally, I would say this is the one that I like the least. And the reason for that is I'm like getting into this feeling again, is this lady that is kind of grumpy. I don't know, what is she doing? She doesn't feel happy.
She looks like a German raver. Come on.
It was supposed to be about connection and about people, and I don't see many people here. So I would say that perhaps if this one would had a different image of a persona, it would speak to me completely differently. But there are elements in this one that I love a lot. Definitely, I love the color palette, and the first box with the logo and new font is really something that stands out for me. And I guess I also love this logo with the new font proposal. Simply, I think it is so clean, and yeah, I like this choice, Victor. Then the second thing I love here is the second box. If you can zoom in on those elements: life, freedom, create your own reality. I know it is kind of, I don't know, you may see that it's cheesy, but I like the idea of developing some sort of unique infographics for the gathering in this style, perhaps. So that, for example, the process of like forming the camp or something like that, if it was in that style, I think it could be also a set of infographics for the brand. And the third thing is if you go to this comma/drop, and inside those whales, if you will, they look as if they were from the banknote or from some Japanese style art. I don't know, somehow they speak to me also, this kind of style of illustration. I don't know what is this style, but I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I echo what you guys are saying. Actually, graphically, in many ways, this one is calmer than all of the other ones, funnily enough, but the color palette is more punchy. Yeah, I also liked this. This is also interesting. Is yeah, doing a lot of social media stuff, being able to do stuff over photos is interesting. So having a standard way of doing it. Typography we discussed. I think the energy and dynamism of the color palette is something that's important to capture. So that's really great here. Uh, yeah, using the drop is kind of cool as a design element.
Yeah. And this honeycomb pattern again on this German raver is also cool.
All right. So we have 10 minutes left on this session, Lee. What do you think? What's the next step, or what do we do now?
So firstly, are you going to bring other people in to weigh in on this before a decision is made?
I would like to share it with our community and with a few people, and if they would like to comment, then great. But I'm not going to wait for other people to give their uh, opinions and block the process on that. So I want to share it and see as much for bringing people along on the journey and getting people thinking about the gathering as about I expect uh, people will come up with things that we haven't thought of.
So these three directions are, as we know, they're quite different. Like, what my ideal outcome from the Stylescapes exercise, we need to choose a direction. We need to go, okay, It's direction one, two, or three. And if you need me to make some tweaks to the stylescape, so say it's the nature one. For me, right now, from all the feedback, that's feeling like the one that people are gravitating towards. And but maybe it's not quite there. Maybe you need, okay, let's bring the drop shape into that one as well, or let's change the character in it,
So
like
going from the top, right? Typography, I think it's clear. It's going to be really simple. We're both pretty happy with Avenir. We should probably iterate on it. Color palette, I think this is missing punch in the highlights, right?
mm,
So this has these two colors or something. There needs to be a way to make it punchy. Uh, drop and hex, I think would be good. We have this idea of, I think all of these parts have good textures. So, and we have this idea of incorporating textures. I think we need bringing in some of these textures like this, the dots that we liked into this format.
mm, mm.
Uh, Alex?
Hmm. I am seeing that number one would also somehow, it is the most neutral because it's natural. I think it would give us the biggest opportunity for brand architecture. So generating sub-brands, because this is there are two main objectives of the entire process, right? So one, we want to appeal more to not just hippies, but also to techies and pros.
Yes,
And
that's
second,
something that I didn't mention, not just techies, but investors and regular people, right? So this is always the ridge that we're surfing, right? We don't want to end up just being completely in the hippie camp. Sorry, Alex, but I want to emphasize it.
so this is one. And second is to create a creative process in which event organizers in different bioregions can use the brand to create their own version of it. So I think for this number one, what I'm seeing intuitively is it would be the easiest because the like comparing to the second one now, the pink one, right? The pink one has already strong definition of colors, right? They are already quite defined. And within the first one, you can still have as a basics this dark black and white, plus add elements that are more earthy, more greeny, more oceanary, and in this way create this style for the future editions, right? The different global editions. It gives the biggest, the most design opportunity somehow from what I'm sensing from it. But again, I'm just an into it. Is the most open somehow, the most inviting for co-creation out of all of this.
Yeah, yeah,
Does,
cool.
does that make sense to you, Victor, what I just said?
Uh, Yep, I think so. I think I even just had an idea. If we're looking at the patterns, right, we could ask people to go, or you can search for, leaf patterns that are indigenous or that are to the local area. right? And things like this could be played with.
Yeah. But the most beautiful one is the last one, definitely. So
The most beautiful. Well, I mean,
the calm. Does that answer the question? Because I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Was there a question?
All right.
the question is, what's the next step? Given that we have 3 minutes left on this meeting. So I will share this with whoever I can share it. And we'll get whatever other ideas and things, but that's not going to roadblock our process. So what's the next step in our process?
Okay, so based on the feedback that you've just given me, I'm going to make an iteration to the first one to bring in some of the elements, change the font, and try and get that to a place that the goal is to get that to a place where you go, yes, happy, go, and then I start the actual design process, or the next step in the design process. What I would say is I always like to sleep on things. I think stuff happens subconsciously. So revisit this again tomorrow. And if there are any other points or feedback or thoughts that come through, then let me know.
Will do. Great.
Oui.